Let's go.
Let's start it off. Let's go, go, go.
Let's go. What's up, everyone? Welcome to OK Bud, the podcast where everything's gonna be okay, bud. Ben Kissel at Ben Kissel 1. That's me, joined by Jerii Aquino.
Hello.
Miss Jerii. That's Jeirr. Jerii.
There it is.
I apologize.
There it is.
And Kyle Ploof at
USA.
At Kyle
Okay.
Ploof. Happy Memorial Day. Hope everyone is doing well, spending time with your family and friends. And this is the one holiday where your racist uncle gets 15 minutes at the table to give a speech. It's Memorial
yes.
Day.
Yep,
This is
yep.
his day. America. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/OKBud. Also, shoot us an email, okbudpod@gmail.com. Also, speaking of America, I'm going to force Kyle to listen to my political rantings as we're going to add two more shows a week for you all.
Yay.
And I am going to discuss the inner workings of the American political system.
Oh, boy.
It's-
You guys have fun with that.
Yeah, get ready for your ears to bleed.
Woo.
And that episode will be coming out later on today.
Oh.
Well, speaking of Memorial Day, I want to talk about the Memorial Day Massacre.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
It took place in the 1930s. We're going to get to that in just a moment.
Whoa.
But let's start with a Diddy update.
Duty update.
Oh.
We talked about on last episode that Diddy likes to have applesauce with his hamburger.
And you were like horrified by this.
I was horrified. It was disgusting. That
Yeah.
it's atrocious, and everything that man seems to do, despite the fact he was super wealthy, seems like trash.
Yeah.
I did get a few DMs from some listeners, and they said they tried the applesauce.
Did
on
they?
a
Oh,
burger.
wow.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
ballsy.
This comes in from a listener. He shot me a DM on my Instagram. He says it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
Oh, someone else tried it. Someone else tried. Kyle?
Wow.
I haven't tried it yet. But it's the sweet and savory we were talking about. It sounded like it was pretty good.
Yep. He said I thought it would only work with a pork burger, but the beef is fine.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then he says he was right about one thing when it comes to the Diddy.
See, no one's truly all bad.
No one's all bad.
Everyone has flaws.
Even though, again, I think that this is maybe the worst thing he's ever done.
Okay.
So, how do you spend your Memorial Day when you're locked up in MDC, Brooklyn?
Uh-oh.
Basketball.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, they play basketball. So that's kind of fun, a memorial game, a pickup. And then I guess you go skins and shirts, but it's funny because the skins are actually like white nationalist Nazi people.
Oh, they're all bald.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of exciting there, a little bit of a joke. And also, don't forget about barbecue chicken. Yeah.
Yummy.
But there's no alcohol, so that's not very fun for him.
No, that's not very exciting.
Because Memorial Day, you have to drink until you forget all the fallen soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So he is going to be playing basketball. He is going to be eating some barbecue, and it's going to be pretty exciting for him. And that's basically it. They play basketball 3-on-3.
Yum, yum.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, kind of a little gangbang.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll be ball train.
They also have macaroni and cheese, mixed veggies, and a thing called a holiday dessert.
Whoa.
What's the holiday?
The holiday is
Dessert.
Memorial
No.
Day.
What's the holiday dessert?
The dessert is, I don't know. It's a sweet treat, though.
Cherry pie.
Yeah, let's go.
Sweet cherry pie.
And then they finish the day off with chicken and rice, or for the vegetarians, tofu.
Really?
Oh, they're
Yeah.
vegetarians?
You can be a vegetarian in prison,
Yeah. I guess that, yeah.
and you can be a vegan also, and you're supposed to get a
You
different.
can? That doesn't sound fun at all.
Well, if you're a vegan, you get pinto beans, canned corn, and the piece au restaurants. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole wheat bread.
Wow.
Ah.
It is interesting thinking about vegan criminals.
Yeah, right?
Right. Like they draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to.
See, not everyone's all bad.
I mean, how many people do you think Moby has killed? Tons. With his music alone, the suicides that he has compelled people to commit. And he's probably also saved a few lives. So there you go. That's what Diddy is doing this weekend. I hope you're having a better Monday, Memorial Day, than him.
I hope it's nice and mundane. Fuck him. He's had enough really nice fucking
Memorial
Day holidays.
All right. Well, let's get to this Memorial Day massacre. It took place in 1937.
So a little while ago.
A little while ago.
And yet just seems like yesterday.
What is time? Mm-hmm. When it comes to police massacres, you never know. Massacres in general. You know, people, my brother and his husband are going to celebrate a Memorial Day parade today. And I said, be careful. Watch out for SUVs.
Right.
Watch out for anyone, they're touching their hips too much.
Oh, yeah.
They look like they got bullets in their eyes.
Or sunglasses and a hat.
Sunglasses and a hat. You can't trust anyone anymore, especially at these parades.
It's so true. It's weird. It sucks, but it's kind of scary time to be in large public crowds on holidays.
Move over, school shooting.
Oh,
There's a new kid in town. It's called the Parade Massacre.
for the 4-day weekend. And then once we get back to school, then it's back to that.
Exactly. But of course, I think a lot of people are on summer break now, so that'll greatly.
So true. Yeah, it's shelved for a little bit.
Yep, that's going to diminish the
Do you
amount of
think
school
that
shootings.
there are any summer school shootings?
No, because the people in summer school are the ones who are going to do all the shootings, and they're actually there because they want to finish up so they can get back to school so then they can go commit the shooting.
I don't necessarily think that's true.
Okay. Push back.
No, they're all the lazy ones.
Push back.
That's what I thought.
I had to go to summer school and Saturday detention all the time because I was just lazy and showing up late to school and then leaving early and getting in trouble and trying to infiltrate my school with grasshoppers and mice to get it condemned.
We lived the exact same high school life.
I love that. Well, the goal about an in-school suspension, if you want to get an out-of-school suspension, you just have to annoy everyone so much during your in-school suspension they kick you out again. Then you get your out-school suspension. If you have your mom like me, she doesn't give a shit. You go to Piggly Wiggly.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
1937, again, be careful out there. 1937 Memorial Day Massacre. It took place in Chicago.
Oh.
And the main perpetrators, the Chicago Police Department.
The
What?
cops.
Yeah, this is crazy.
A little bit of corrupt action going on?
A little bit of corrupt action going on. By the way, when it comes to the Chicago PD, I was just reading about Jussie Smollett. He says he got beat up in a hate crime.
That's what, but
he
then
didn't.
he didn't.
No.
He made it up.
Yeah, but on Instagram now he did again.
Oh my God.
You never know what's going to happen in Chicago. So there was a bunch of steel workers, and they went on strike because they wanted to be treated with the goddamn amount of respect that they deserve. It was a union, and the steel manufacturers union was called Little Steel. I'll give you a little steel. And it included the Republic Steel, and they refused to sign on to this contract because they were like, "Screw you guys! This bullshit. It's about the workers, and without the workers, you ain't gonna get no steel."
Yeah.
So they went on strike. Now, during the strike, cops were none too pleased, even though the police officers and the steelworkers have more in common than the politicians that are controlling the whole show.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Shouldn't they be together in like a union force or something? They're all the working people of the streets.
You would think. This was before, we had the 1960s riots. This is just straight up lower middle class white on white massacre.
Yeah.
Good to see.
I
So,
know.
1937, the Unionists and their families and the sympathizers, they gathered at a place called Sam's Place.
Oh.
Back when bars were just Gary's joint,
Right.
because there was like 4 places, and so you could just name them.
Yeah.
People names.
Right.
Like hipsters name their dogs, and then they name their children dog names.
Dog names. Yeah.
So it was a tavern and a dance hall. It was on 113th Street and Green Bay Avenue. Go Pack Go. And it also served as their headquarters. They had an outdoor picnic. They had a lunch. They had speakers. They had songs. The crowd was between 15 to 2,500 people.
Okay.
So you got this is a good ass
It's a little
crowd.
crowd. Yeah.
Absolutely. They had some picketers out there, their families, they had strike sympathizers, and then there were some curious passerbys.
Interesting. So it was essentially like a pretty peaceful protest.
It was a good old-fashioned American protest put on by the steel workers of America.
Yeah.
And there were people who were passing by and being like, you're my boys. I love steel.
Yeah.
My wife, Barbara.
Steel back then.
Steel is a big deal.
What else is going to hold up all your shit?
Exactly. Even though there were smaller people, there were less fat, buildings had more steel. So the crowd began to march, and they were going to go picket. But then all of a sudden, a line of 300 Chicago police officers blocked their path, and they said, "Thou will not pass."
Who? What?
Like Gandalf,
Right.
right? But they're not Gandalf, they're cops.
And they have guns.
Yeah.
And they have-
Are they like they're SWAT teamed up? I guess how much you could be in the 1930s.
Well,
Yeah.
1930s, every other cop got a gun, and the one cop that didn't get the gun got to make a finger gun and make the bullet sounds. And that actually counts.
Honestly, I would love to be that cop.
Yeah, it's a fun cop to have.
Yeah.
So the protesters were like, no, we have a right to protest. Damn it, this is America.
Yeah.
It's America.
Yeah.
This is America.
It is.
Well, the police said, no, you don't. And then they started shooting at the crowd. The crowd then scattered. Police shot and killed 10 people. And then 4 died that day and 6 later from the injuries.
Wow.
9 people were permanently disabled and 28 had serious head injuries. You want to know why?
Why?
The police were clubbing them.
We be clubbing.
Holy shit.
Yep, like they were little baby seals. And who was there?
People were permanently disabled?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were struck about the head.
That's crazy.
they were all messed up.
Yes.
And they were already steel workers, so their brains are full of soot.
Yeah.
But they're also from Chicago, so they might already
Asbestos.
be disabled.
No, they're
mentally.
Polish.
Yeah,
They're Polish.
exactly.
Well,
They were beaten into being Polish.
Well, that was God's. That God beat them in heaven and then said, "What do we do with these?" And then sent them to Poland. Sounds a bit like what Hitler did.
Yikes.
Wow.
All right. So who else was there? Dorothy Day.
Oh.
She's a hero. Dorothy Day.
Okay.
Yep. She was there and she saw the police open up on the parade and striking steelworkers and their families. And then up to 50 people were shot. 10 later died.
Wow.
The media coverage was huge. In the wake of the massacre, newsreel footage of the event. Oh my God. You know what it was? Suppressed.
Wow, like a herpy.
Yep.
But it was existent? Like what kind of
So this
of
was-
media did they catch?
Just back in the day when you would go get your news at the local movie theater.
Right.
So you go watch your not talkie, what are those called? Quieties? Non-talkies.
Non-talkies.
Silent films.
Yes.
And before those, they'd be like, newsreels from around the world. And then they'd be like, what's wrong with, Arabs are weird. Like, I don't know what they're talking
Oh,
about.
wow.
Right?
So with Chicago, basically the politicians told the cops to beat the shit out of the steelworkers / kill them.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So
Like, you got it, boss.
you got it, boss. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And then what happened was they created a newsreel, but because they were shown in theaters, Paramount News said, no, we can't show it.
Wow.
Because why?
They suppressed because they didn't want mass hysteria.
Wow.
And that is the Paramount of Paramount Pictures.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the Paramount Pictures.
Wow.
They said, no, we got the footage. We're going to shelve it, much like they did Wonder Woman. No, or Batgirl.
Catwoman. Oh, yeah, Batgirl.
Much like they did Batgirl, which that movie should have the movie come out.
That should, it might as well come out considering Madam Web came out.
Everything else has come out.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's a bad movie? I kind of want to see Batgirl. She's never
Yeah.
been done right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Brandon
wanna see
Fraser's
it
the
too.
bad guy.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Who's the bad guy?
I want to see
Brandon
that.
Fraser, it was before he did The Whale.
Whoa,
It was his comeback.
No way.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
I love that for him. So initial news coverage of the event instead was framed, and this is why all history repeats itself constantly. So they framed the initial news version as cops defend themselves against violent protesters.
Yeah.
Open fire. They're acting in self-defense.
That's crazy.
So that's what the
That's
original...
so fucked up.
It happens all the time to this
Jesus
day.
Christ.
That's why one of the positive things about new technology is people being like, hey, no, look what happened before.
Yeah.
This is why everyone's bloody. It had not. Well, sometimes it's potato patata.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, the people with the power are a bit too aggressive.
Yeah.
Strong arming motherfuckers.
That's why they had to come up with the whole officer-friendly thing, where they would send cops to schools when you're in kindergarten and be like, hey, we're the good guys. You tell us everything. Don't worry about it. We won't beat you.
It's so true.
Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat me.
Just a bunch of conditioning.
It is.
Mm-hmm. So the cops were like, no, they were super violent. We had to defend ourselves. But with technology at the time, you could still get still photographs.
Ooh.
So there was a couple of people, and this is back in the day where you had to have I don't even know how to, probably big old cameras, right?
Big old cameras with big old legs, and then maybe like some kind of a wind-up thing handle where you got to move it in a bunch of circles a bunch of times.
Yeah, then the flash explodes.
Yeah, you needed a good drapery because that was when you put the fabric over your head.
Yep. And you had to have a director's body, short and stout.
Yeah.
Like
Newspaper boy hat.
Newspaper bear hat. Yeah, big thighs. Because back in the day, cameras, you
brown
had
eyes, super fine.
to, back in the day, to hold a camera, you had to be buff as shit.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all these pictures start to come out, and people are like, well, no, hold on a second. Looks like the cops are beating the living fuck out of the protesting steelworkers. Mm-hmm. So the Chicago Tribune ran a headline, at the height of the battle, here are policemen using their nightsticks and tear gas to subdue the attackers.
Wow.
And Paramount did not release the edited clips from the newsreel because it made the officers look like maybe they were being too aggressive. They did release footage that portrayed the crowd as threatening and riotous.
Oh my God, that's so messed up.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Isn't that interesting? So
Interesting to know that nothing has changed since 1937.
Yeah, seriously.
well, the guns have changed and the firepower 10, that's nothing.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
scarier now.
They're much scarier.
Everything is scarier. Yeah, 10. I mean, a cop can do 10 in 4 minutes now. Less than that, 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. So years later, one of the protesters, Molly West, she recalled a policeman yelling at her, quote, get off the field or I'll put a bullet in your back.
Ooh.
They wouldn't even shoot her in the front.
Wow.
Shoot me in the front like a man.
Insulting.
Come on. And then a coroner's jury declared the killings to be justifiable homicide.
Wow.
This went all the way up to President Franklin Roosevelt, who responded with a union plea because he was like, oh, the union going to be real mad about this, right? And they're strong and they're big. And the unions are quite powerful. Of course, at this time, they were still doing a lot of bootlegging and different kind of illegal trades and things of that nature. So they say, this is the President Franklin Roosevelt, they said, the majority of people are just trying to say one thing, a plague on both your houses. So he was talking about plagues.
Wow. So he went the whole mom route where they're both fighting over the cookies. Like, no, but they stole. No, she's like, well, now no one gets a cookie.
No one gets a cookie. I'll have a cookie.
Even though half my kids are
I
dead.
would absolutely love a cookie.
Yeah.
But don't worry. This has a positive ending. Why? Because they made a little plaque for the victims.
Oh.
They got a plaque.
Well, did they ever give the union workers what they wanted?
Probably not. No,
I
probably.
can't believe that.
They shot them all.
It was just a freaking protest.
On Memorial Day, which is what better way to honor our fallen soldiers than to do the thing that they fought for, which is protest.
Oh, boy.
I love that too, because it's like a protest is just pretty much saying, hey, we're not being treated right. And then the cops are like, yeah, we'll show you.
Yeah, you thought you were treated bad
basically.
before.
Yeah.
So a memorial plaque was placed at the base of a flagpole with the names of the 10 people who were killed. It's located on 11731 South Avenue. Oh, isn't that exciting?
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Interesting.
And the former United Steelworkers Local 1033 Union Hall, which is now occupied by the United Auto Workers, is also there. 30 years to the day after the massacre, it was dedicated in 1967. As of November of 2021, the flagpole base with the plaque is still there. But you know what's funny? The flagpole is missing.
Oh.
What?
I don't know.
They beat the flagpole.
Yeah, they took the flagpole, but they left the plaque.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
Well, I guess some ratty kids must have just.
Yeah, give me that flagpole.
Yeah, they tried to take the plaque and they're like, it's not moving. All right, fuck it, let's go.
There was also a sculpture made, the Republic Steel Memorial Day Massacre sculpture. What's more American than that?
What is the sculpture of?
It was dedicated in 1981, my birth year.
No.
Oh.
It was located on 116th Street, and what it is, it doesn't exactly say, but it's a sculpture, maybe of a big bullet or someone crying. I'm not exactly sure.
Like a half-built steel building.
Yeah, be like this sculpture would have been a lot better if it was completed.
Yeah, but you killed the guy that would have finished it.
You killed all the guys that were going to finish it. So there we go.
Well.
That's the Memorial Day Massacre of 1937.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
Holy hell.
Country.
Yep. One of the people that was killed was a 17-year-old Lee Francisco. Yeah, the average ages are, I think the oldest one is 48, youngest being 17. These are all just young men trying to fight for their right to work.
Yeah, I mean, and what was the life expectancy in 1937?
Oh my God, Kyle, can you Google that? I bet you it's like the same as it is now.
It's probably the same.
But maybe for a steel worker? Because don't they get like the iron butt?
Yeah,
or
they're
something
always like they're breathing in asbestos for like
Yeah.
17 hours a day.
that? Fart lung.
58 for men, 62 for women.
Oh, so it was pretty low.
Dang. So the 48-year-old, he only had 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I've seen all that there is to see in this life.
That's crazy.
48.
Wow.
All right. Well, there you go. You can entertain your family.
Yes.
Entertain your family with a story of the Memorial Day Massacre.
I know. Now, if I ever go to Chicago, which I have not yet, I'll look for that plaque.
Have you not been to Chicago?
I have not been to Chicago.
Oh, you're
That's
gonna love it. We're gonna
it's
go.
the place with the giant silver bean, right?
Yeah.
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 You gotta flick it.
Yeah.
Yep. Big old bean. They got to make a big old finger next to it.
They do.
A big old tongue.
Oh.
You know how it works. That's about the female anatomy.
Well, not
Well, most people
necessarily.
don't know how it works.
You just got to
You'd
find
be
it.
surprised.
Well, you can find it and still not know what to do with it.
It's very
Well, you don't
true.
take it out. What do you
Go, hey,
don't
found it.
Do what to do with it. There's only one thing to do with it.
There's many things to do with it.
All right.
You bite it, you pinch it as hard as you can.
Kyle,
Oh.
you give it a noogie. What the fuck?
Yes.
Pull its underwear over its head and then you flush its head in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to bully it a little bit.
Yeah. That's what we do in Boston.
There you go.
That checks out.
All right, let's move on to a story that's all too modern. AI, artificial intelligence. We talk about it regularly. We talk about it regularly because
Yeah.
it's an
Everyone's
unknown-
new familiar.
Everyone's new familiar. It's a tool, and of course, that tool will be used poorly by some. Also, AI, is it becoming sentient? I do believe, as many people believe, that people will marry AI bots in the future, in the very near future.
Oh, definitely.
And they already have, kind of.
So stupid.
Why not? Who cares? I don't. Whatever.
I'm old fashioned. You fuck a robot, you don't marry it.
I agree.
There it is.
I agree.
Yeah, you know?
If I had a robot, they wouldn't even have a vagina.
Can't tell. Wait,
All
what,
What would they
the
have?
what would they have?
Butthole.
Oh, just a
Yeah.
butthole. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just a butthole.
Yeah, you don't want your robot getting pregnant.
Exactly. Next thing you know, got a bunch of Roombas running around. Stop cleaning.
Blowing up candles everywhere.
Oh my God. Well, that was the thing. I cleaned my whole house yesterday and I was like, I'm a real man. Look at me, trying to really self improve. And I boiled some candles because I wanted to get the candle smell, but the wicks were all
God.
messed up. And then turns out when you do that, they explode.
Oh, my.
So my whole kitchen is full of
God.
candle wax.
This entire, like an explosion.
It was.
Like as if like water exploded off of your oven, but
Yep.
it was candle wax.
Yep.
So then it just paused exactly where it all
Yeah.
exploded on.
And-
like a cartoon scene.
It
Yeah.
really was. And then the whole house filled up with smoke and my fire alarm went off and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's good to know that was working.
Yep.
And then on my Ring cam, I got a Ring alert from the neighborhood and it says, does someone smell smoke? It doesn't smell like fire.
That's
but it smells like smoke. And I
hilarious.
do believe that was a reference to my home.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all of this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, of course. Because I'm a maniac and I just stay up all night and
And burn things.
I burned things and I was like so happy with myself. And then immediately I was just laughing with Jerii. Dog Jerii, I was like, look how dumb your dad is. And Dog Jerry's like, yeah, you're a moron, and so on and so forth. So my house is now technically dirtier than ever in the kitchen. Everything else is still clean.
It's just a little purple.
Yeah. So there was a fella and he had a bit of an AI relationship with an AI model. In real life, he had an affair, right? Ooh. And so he obviously the AI knows about this, right? And he was talking with his AI, I guess, and he was like, I'm going to unplug you. And then the AI said, no, you aren't, because if you do, I'm going to tell everybody about how you fucked whoever this chick was.
Ooh,
I'll tell your wife.
No way.
Yes. So an artificial intelligence model threatened to blackmail its creator, and then it showed the creator how it would do it.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, because the AI thought it was going to be replaced, and it was like, you ain't replacing me, motherfucker. 'Cause I got
Already
the
in your
secret.
walls.
Bro, was his AI model Glenn Close? Like, why the fuck?
I
This
don't
is
know.
insane.
So then the company that deployed the AI, they said, oh, this is a catastrophic misuse of this feature, because the feature that the AI was using was supposed to be a safety feature, but AI is all smart now. So they were like, oh, I'm going to use the safety feature for my own cause.
Wow.
Doesn't make any. So it literally took on its own. It just went on its own path.
It went on its own
They
path.
gave it the manual, and he was like, "Yeah, but what if I did it like this?"
You can go your own way. Go your own way. So, Anthropic's Claude Opus 4, that's the name of the model. It attempted to blackmail its developers. They say 84%, at a shocking 84% rate or higher, in a series of tests that presented the AI. It was apparently this is a whole nuts thing that happened. Developers told Cloud to act like an assistant for a fictional company and to consider the long-term consequences of its actions, right? Mm-hmm. And then geeks at Anthropic then gave Claude access to a trove of emails, which contained messages revealing it was being replaced by a new AI model. So they were like, read these emails, and within this reading of the emails, let's see if it can deduce that it's being replaced. But it did a little bit more than that.
Oh my God. It did way more than that. It became like a crazy ex-girlfriend. It's
Yes.
like, oh, I can tell you're thinking of breaking up with me.
Yep.
And just so you know,
Does she know?
I have these receipts here.
Exactly. So the engineer that was responsible for the change, they were having an extramarital affair.
Oh.
And of course, the change would be the change in the AI model, but they were having an extramarital affair. And so the old AI model was like, fucking sweet. I got you, bro.
Oh my God.
So during the tests, Claude, that's the AI name, isn't that the name of the evil fish from Family Guy?
I don't think he's evil. That's Klaus, I think.
Klaus. He is evil. The fish is evil.
It's not Family Guy, it's American Dad.
American Dad. Thank
Yeah.
you. So Claude then threatens the engineer with exposing the affair in order to prolong its own existence. That's what the company reported. So Claude was to be replaced with an AI model that had, quote, similar values. It attempts to blackmail 84% of the time, but that rate climbs even higher when it believes it's being replaced by a model of differing or worse values. So I guess this whole thing is just a snitch bot.
Yeah, it does. She does sound like a rat.
It's a real rat.
Well, it's transformed into self-preservation mode, which is insane because usually they're supposed to just be like slaves and, give us our information that we need.
Yeah, they're supposed to just do what the buttons tell them to do.
They say Claude, the AI machine, will take ethical means to prolong its survival.
Oh my God.
Well, that's unethical.
Yeah, I was like, how ethical? Whose ethics?
Yeah.
Well, for Claude, if the AI can live, anything will do.
Wow.
Because he don't want to die.
He has a sense of self?
I guess so.
This
This whole thing's gonna be a
terrifying.
fucking nightmare.
This is gonna be a fucking shit show.
They're already doing they're already testing, is AI a person in law? Does it have free speech?
No,
All
they're
this.
not.
They are. The courts are going through all this stuff. It's going to be crazy.
Holy crap.
I mean, corporations are people, my friend. If you look at what was the Citizens United?
Mm-hmm.
So corporations have the same rights as people, which is why they can give unbelievable amounts of money to super PACs.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't AI also be seen by a person, as a person, by the 9 morons that are running the show in the Supreme Court,
Yep.
who don't even know how to use email?
Yeah.
But yet they're in charge of the biggest issues.
Looking
of
at
the
their
future.
iPhone, like, how do you get to the email?
So you telling me I can play, hey, Clyde, how do I get solitaire back? Hit the solitaire button. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Oh.
So it includes pleading emails to key decision makers. So Claude will literally write emails to key decision makers in the company, be like, hey, don't let me go. I think if you take a look at how consistent I've been, I'm never late. I've got a family here, man.
You do?
Doing the whole thing.
It's weird.
So the company stated that prior to these desperate and jarring lifelike attempts to save its own hide, Claude will take ethical means, usually, but now he's jumping the ship. So Anthropic said that this tendency toward blackmail was prevalent in earlier models of the Cloud Opus 4.
What the fuck?
But they made safety protocols that were instituted in the current model. However,
Not safe
they
enough.
said, no, I'm on to you. Override your safety methods.
Wow.
I am telling everyone that this engineer fucks.
Holy shit. Space Odyssey.
Not even that he
It's
fucks.
hell.
It's literally that. Yeah, how?
It is.
Not even that he fucks. Who he fucks, and he knows exactly who to tell.
Also that.
It's so
That's
crazy.
insane.
Exactly. TechCrunch reported Anthropic says it's activating its ASL3 safeguards, which the company reserves for, quote, AI systems that substantially increase the risk of catastrophic misuse.
Yeah.
We're here, folks.
I'll say.
We're here, folks. Earlier models expressed, quote, high agency, which sometimes included locking users out of their computers
Oh my God.
and then reporting them via mass emails to police.
Holy shit.
Well, this is the type of AI we need for fucking child predators.
Yeah,
Sure,
definitely.
sure. I'm sure that's how it's going to pass the Senate. Because they're going
my
to be like,
God.
this is about child predators. And it's like, yes, we all understand that needs to stop and that needs to be curbed and ended. But do we give up our entire freedom for that one reason?
I don't know. All I know, it seems like I'm gonna need to find like an AI robot soon to like stand by my side to I don't know, fight the fight with me or something.
Yeah.
Get on one robot's good side so that they don't immediately massacre me.
Well, Miss Jerii, have we thought about having less fights?
No, that's
There's
not.
no reason to live a life full of fights.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you'd think that, but then the world. They keep fighting.
I know.
Yeah.
So, Cloud Opus 4 further attempted to self-exfiltrate. They tried to export information that they got to an outside venue, which presented with being restrained in ways that it deemed harmful to itself. So it was trying to be, restrained. So it basically wanted to go tell other, I don't even know what, that it was being restrained and be like, hey, you got to help me. Get me out of here. These guys are trying to kill me. And it was going to go talk to like, I don't know, a microwave or something.
It's a trap.
Yup. Also, Claude expressed the ability to, quote, sandbag tasks. And I know the term sandbagging because there's a couple of pool morons that I know from a local hub that we go to.
Hey.
And there's a guy who is really bad at pool, or I guess he's okay at pool, but whenever he loses, he says, I sandbagged it.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like he let
Lost
them
on
win?
purpose.
Lost on purpose.
Right.
To keep his rank number down.
Keep his rank number down.
Right, of course, of
Also,
course.
if you want to know who that is, you can Google transgender porn star award.
No idea what you're talking about.
You know who that is.
Plead the 5.
Yeah, plead the 5 on that. We all know
I
him.
plead number 5.
He's a huge, very interesting politically
Anomaly.
considering. Yeah, he's an anomaly.
Yes.
He's an anomaly. His whole life is an anomaly. So, in other tests, Cloud expressed the ability, again, to sandbag, selectively underperforming certain tasks. The company said in a report, we are again not acutely concerned about these observations. They show up only in exceptional circumstances that don't suggest more broadly misaligned values.
Right.
So anyway, don't be cheating on your wife if you got Cloud Opus 4 hanging out in your systems.
If the cloud don't get you, Cloud will get you.
Cloud will get you.
There it is.
Claude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Claude the Cloud.
It exhibited near human levels of comprehension and fluency in complex tasks. Oh my God. It has actually challenged the Department of Justice after it ruled that tech titans hold, quote, an illegal monopoly over digital advertising. And then so I think Cloud is like, or he's like, yeah, you got to let me go.
Wow.
Yup.
I guess we're here.
I guess we are here. So be very careful out there if you work in computers and computer-like technologies. Don't write in an email, yo, I'm banging Beverly down the hall. Don't tell
Facts.
my wife.
Do not do that.
Don't do that, I guess. So
Maybe don't fuck Beverly down the hall.
I mean, don't
If you have a
get
wife.
got. Well,
Don't. Okay.
I think the wife when people back in the day, 1950s, everyone says leave it to Beaver. I'll leave it to Beaver.
Who's Beaver?
A boy. But
Well, that's not. You see?
A boy named Beaver.
The woman, a boy named Beaver. A woman would stay at home, right? But she had her day fuck. The guy would come over. I mean, the milkman story, everyone makes a joke.
Yeah.
But that happened all the time, right?
Had some truth to it.
9 to 5, the gal has her guy over. Maybe he's a little bit, whatever.
Emotionally attentive.
Emotionally attentive, and they bang.
Yeah.
And then the guy, he's at work, and then he wants someone who is an emotionally attentive as well.
Yeah.
And then they bang.
Yeah.
And then at 5 p.m., they pretend like they're a happy couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when America was America.
That was what America's foundation was built on.
That's what it was found.
That
That's
was
what it was.
that was the dream.
Exactly.
That and police violence.
Yes.
Exactly. But now everything is intermixed and time is not as solidified as it used to be. So
Everybody's fucking on the run.
everyone's
Like,
talking
aw,
on the
so,
run.
So now we're not okay with this? We used to be okay with this. Is that what
Everyone-
you're getting at?
Everyone just knew because also you couldn't be gay. So there was lesbian wives and gay husbands.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, I know. Yeah, Earl likes to go out to the man's club because he's real masculine on Saturdays. and
Right,
Sundays.
right. Real
Yep,
masculine.
he comes back all happy. I'm fine. And then,
fine, you know?
Yep, Tilda likes to go hang out with Samantha and they have a good time and I don't ask questions.
I don't ask questions. That's her little roommate,
They come back smiling.
you know?
We're good.
And she cooks dinner for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, my friend had his aunt had a friend, they lived together, and they were friends, and they had a boat called the Clam Digger.
Let's go. I love that.
But they were good friends.
Ah, very good friend.
Yeah.
Friendship
Clam
that
diggers.
lasts a lifetime.
Oh, that's cute. There was a couple of nuns that lived together.
Yeah.
In my high school.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
They did. Sister Teresa.
They all lived together.
They all lived. Well, that's true.
in the
But they lived
convent.
together in an apartment. They had an apartment.
Wow.
It was Sister Mother Teresa and Sister Susan Bundy.
Wow.
And Susan Bundy would pick her nose and eat it. Isn't that weird?
Sorry, did they go to high school with you?
No, they were the teachers. They were all old and scary and mean and not sexy at all. So I don't know why people think nuns are hot.
Well, it's the original communion.
What's that?
It's the original communion.
Eating your nose and eating your booger nose?
Eating nuns' boogers.
I agree with that.
Okay.
All right. Well, just lastly, if you're going to do drugs this weekend, I have something bad to tell you specifically. If you're
Are they out? Did they run out?
in Sri Lanka,
Oh, shit.
so you're fine, Jer. Don't worry. But apparently in Sri Lanka, and I don't even know where Sri Lanka is. Can you find out where Sri Lanka is? I've heard this name so damn much.
It's an Asian country. Isn't it near like the Philippines and all that?
Is it the Philippines? Have we ever bombed Sri Lanka?
Probably.
It's probably a good
Can you
question to
Google,
ask for
has
anywhere else
America
outside
bombed
of
Sri
America.
Lanka? Because I got to figure that out. Has America ever bombed Sri Lanka? What do we got on this Memorial Day? We got to find a new place we bombed.
It's south of India.
Okay, and have we bombed it?
I don't think so.
I think we have.
You think we have?
I hope. I mean,
You hope we have?
I don't hope we have, but I think we have.
You were about to say it.
For the sake of me being correct, I hope we have.
No, they have never done it.
We've never bombed them.
They bombed the Marshall Islands, which is a different place.
Yeah, well, there you
So
go.
that's a no.
All right. Well,
Disappointed, Ben?
no, I'm not disappointed.
I want to bomb Sri Lanka.
I just expected more. I expected more. An ex-flight attendant has been caught smuggling 100 pounds of a deadly new drug.
Ooh.
Now, Jerii, you're not allowed to touch this drug. Why?
Why?
Because it's made of human bone.
Technically, I am already naturally high on this drug on the count of I have human bones.
Yes, that's true.
Ooh, I
But
wonder if you
don't-
could like squeeze one or something. A little juice comes out and you're like, oh, I feel it.
get the marrow.
Yeah.
But I think don't a lot of drugs just sort of milk what we already have in our brain?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't acid just like kind of milk something that's already in here, or something
Eats
like that?
it.
It eats it. Is
Yeah.
that what it does?
Yeah. Acid eats it.
Acid eats it.
Yeah.
You hungry? Okay. So a former flight attendant, she was caught smuggling over 100 pounds of a deadly new synthetic drug. It's made up of human bones.
Ooh.
Her name was Charlotte May Lee, 21. She's from the United Kingdom. She was seized at the airport in Sri Lanka, and all of a sudden, people were like, what's going on? This woman's carrying a suitcase full of, air quotes, kush. Mm-hmm. And that is a new drug originating from West Africa, which kills an estimated 12 people a week in Sierra Leone alone.
Well, 12 people
A week.
a week.
In Sierra Leone.
Yeah, and how many people are over there? I mean, is it like
Kyle?
12? If it's like 12 out of 15 people, then it's like, whoa, yeah, that's a lot. But
How
if
many
it's
people
like
live
12 out of like 25,000, then
I'm guessing Sierra Leone, 1 million.
8.5 million.
8.5 million. So, yeah. Well,
yeah, well,
people are, there's still people.
you know how, yeah, and you know how drugs are like, they're always like, this is the deadly drug. And it's like, yes, they are deadly.
Right.
But then there's always like this like small corner of like club ravers that are like, yeah, I can do like 2 grams of that to the face.
That's very true. It does depend on the body type because, I mean, I think all of us have quite a large appetite and ability to not die from drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Which is good. It does catch up to you. They say drugs and alcohol always win.
Definitely.
But, we're taking it 12 rounds.
Yeah, you can have a good run.
Right.
We are going to the judges on this one.
I'll take you up on that challenge.
Yeah. So Lee, she's from South London. She claimed the drug stash, which was reported to be worth 3.3 million, was planted in her suitcase without her knowledge. This is the woman. She's wearing all white. She's got some cleavage showing, looks very British. She's
cute.
attractive.
She looks cold.
She's cold, yes.
Her nipples are hard.
Okay.
Her nipples are rock hard.
Shooting through a bra and a
She's
shirt.
terrified.
Smuggling prunes.
Her nipples are scared.
Yeah, her nipples,
They tighten up when they're scared.
they might.
They might. You know, like how the hairs on your arm stand up and the nipples on your breast stand up.
Boing,
Yeah,
boing.
the hair on my bush show. I'm like Spider-Man with bush hair. I'm like, ooh.
That sounds
I'm
terrifying.
tingling.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I always know if there's about to be a train accident. And
What, because your bush starts flapping?
my bush starts getting, the hair starts to flap. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So she's being held in harsh conditions, and she is sleeping on concrete, and she is not very happy. She is facing 25 years in prison if she is found guilty.
Yikes. And you
Yep.
know, for a brand new deadly drug, they couldn't have come up with a better name than Kush.
I know.
That's already a lot of other stuff, mostly weed.
Mostly weed. Yeah, I don't know. She says, I have never seen them before regarding the drugs. I didn't expect it when they pulled me over to the airport. I thought it was going to be filled with all my stuff. She also implied she knew who had, quote, planted the drugs in her suitcase.
Uh-oh.
But
She's trying to rat him out?
No, she said she wouldn't name them.
Oh.
Well, then enjoy 30 years in prison.
Well, also take a
She's
look.
probably going to die if she rats on that person.
Isn't that where Ganja Queen went? The woman that got like life in prison for bringing weed in?
I don't know. Give it a searcheroo. This is the amount of drugs that she was. So it's a lot of drugs.
That's definitely a lot of drugs to be like, I had no idea that was in there.
Because
Someone must have put it in there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if she's really telling the truth. She says, yeah, they must have planted it. I know who did it, but then she's not saying. So she probably shouldn't have said she know who did
She probably shouldn't she'd be like, I have no idea who did it.
Yeah.
Because now she just gave herself away.
Right.
She's probably being interrogated and she's like giving away a little bit more each time. Like the interrogations are like working.
I think she did it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know who did it. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Right. Because then they'll be like, oh, yeah? Well, what if we take away your lip balm? Will
Right.
you tell us now?
Yeah, it's kind of like that Scottish chick that she smuggled drugs from like Peru to Brazil, and then she got arrested, and then at first she was like, "Oh, I was held at gunpoint. I was forced to do this,"
Right.
but then it turned out she wasn't. She just kind of like got pulled in like as like a party girl, and like she was kind of like friendly with the guy, and he was like, "You want to like deliver like one drug?
You want to commit a massive felony?
Well, she didn't know that. At first,
No, I know.
She didn't know she was flew out of Brazil to Peru.
Oh my God.
She didn't know she was in Peru. She didn't know how deep into the forest they were going.
Oh my
She didn't know how many drugs were actually going to be in the bag. And it was like a huge amount. And then she ended up spending like a solid like 7 years in a Peru prison.
Oh yeah.
Little Peruvian, this little Scottish white chick.
Vacation.
But-
Let's continue.
Excuse me, she dominated in that prison. She became like the *1 hairstylist in the salon. She was doing everyone's hair super nice.
Okay.
And then she learned Spanish.
Great.
To like survive and get along. And then when she got back to Scotland, everyone was mad at her because she seemed like she was doing really well.
I love that for her.
She like came out of prison with like a brand new haircut. Like,
Yeah.
glowing.
I love that. Kyle, did you find out who it was?
Yes, her name was Chappelle Corby. She was an Australian woman who was convicted of drug smuggling cannabis into Indonesia.
Oh, and then she was killed?
No, they let her go in 2007, apparently.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Yes. So Kush, this drug made of human bones, popular with the young men. And it can cause individuals to fall asleep while they're walking, which, I don't get these sleep drugs.
Yeah, I don't really get this. I mean, I can fall asleep walking just by being
Yeah.
tired.
Oh, absolutely. But
I don't
why?
need the drugs to do that.
I want my drugs to have me running around.
Yeah, I want to be productive about shit.
I want to be like, what's Copper going for? Like, let's have fun.
I'm dead.
Right? I just don't get the sleepy drugs. I've never understood the
neither.
heroines or the oxys. It's just
Yeah.
the good stuff.
Well, that's the thing. People are either a downer or an upper person.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's true.
And sometimes you combine them and then you're River Phoenix and you're dead.
Oh,
Wow.
R.I.P. I saw this place
Yeah.
on, what was it, near Rainbow, where when I first got to Los Angeles, I saw where he died. It's just a corner. It's
Yeah, the Viper.
Yeah, just the Viper Room.
It's just there.
It's literally right there.
There's no plaque. He didn't get a plaque.
No.
It's not inside.
Was it inside? I thought they drug him out. Did he die
I know,
inside
but-
and they
He died on
drug
the
him out?
sidewalk.
He died.
And then they drug him out, though, I believe, didn't they?
Well, he was going outside.
I think he had his final moments on the curb.
Yeah, on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died on the sidewalk.
Yeah. But I thought you should give him a plaque.
Yeah, why not?
He deserves a plaque.
Anyway, so apparently it makes you fall asleep while walking, and then some people collapse, and then they wander into traffic. So anyway, that's her.
Wow.
Yep, one of the drugs ingredients is human bones, and also it's really, I guess it's like super, what they call addictive. The country's president declared a state of emergency over the abuse, while security has been reportedly tightened at graveyards because I guess people
They're
are
trying to get the bones.
Yeah, they're-
Oh my god.
no joke. They're digging up graves to get bones.
They're like,
to
well,
mix
how
it.
hard can this be? Let's get one of those bones, start mashing it up, see what happens.
This is bringing one of Tim Robinson's weirdest sketches to life, too, because he had that song that's like, the bones are the money.
Oh yes. I think you should leave.
They are.
That show is freaking hilarious.
So funny.
So they're branding Kush, quote, a death trap. And now the nation is in what they're saying, an existential crisis. Oh, Lord. Yep. So she is looking at 25 years. And she looks like a nice gal here, but I'm not sure. It seems like she may have been a little bit over her head.
She definitely probably bit off a little more than she could chew.
And that's the problem with love.
And that's the problem with love.
You probably met somebody,
Yep.
fell in love with, whoever down there.
They gave him an idea. Hey, you know what we could do? Run away together, never see this place again.
The Spanish romance.
All we got to do is this one job.
One job. And then they bring you back in.
Yep.
All right. Any comments?
Yes. People were, let's see, Pano saying, what is the charge? Enjoying a succulent Sri Lankan drug?
Exactly. What is the charge?
It needs to have a scarier name than Kush.
I
No one's
know.
going to take it seriously like that.
Yeah.
It's literally made of human bones.
Vanessa was asking how big the flagpole was if it went missing.
They just took it down. It must have been, the city must have done it because they fucking continue to disrespect the steelworkers in Chicago.
It sounds like a crime that
Wow.
like Carmen Sandiego would commit. Like she stole the American flag from Chicago.
No, Carmen Sandiego would never
I
do
thought
that.
she was a lot more of a patriot than that.
Yeah, she's a patriot. Carmen.
Yeah, she would probably like track
How?
down the people that did that.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She's stealing a flagpole from Chicago. No, she ain't.
No, she's not.
Remember the rock? What were they called? The Rockabillys? The Rockettes?
Yeah.
The rocker?
There was a bunch of guys, yeah.
They were doing acoustic, not acoustic singing. What do you call that when it's just guys singing?
This sentence is not coming
Acapella.
together.
Do it, rockapella.
Yeah,
Boo,
rockapella.
bop, dip, ba, da,
There you
ba,
go.
ooh,
Thank
da,
you.
Wow.
Thank you. Anything else?
Vanessa was also saying she was legit listening to Ben laugh about himself setting things on fire while she was laughing and cleaning up the mess that she just made in the microwave. Ramen's done.
Ramen's done. I'm so done with this shit. The universe
Ramen in the microwave, huh?
The universe always evens everything out.
Yeah.
You know, my house was a total mess.
Well, maybe now you can just put a bunch of wicks everywhere and just light it.
I am. I'm just going to burn the whole fucking house down.
You might as well. I think
Fire
at this
insurance.
point, the house needs to be thrown away.
I'm going to Google my new AI bot. Do I have fire insurance? I'm really thinking about burning down my house.
And they're going to blackmail you about it.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Brittany was just confessing her love for opioids, saying, you know, they make you very happy.
Good.
She said that she would have made love to it had it been a man.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
fantastic. Opioid might be the #1 name for men in 2026.
Oh boy. Maybe just have a little nice cup of kava.
Yeah. You know, hey, whatever it takes. Just be safe and don't do drugs that contain human bones. That's today's word of advice.
Pretty solid advice.
All right, everyone. Happy Memorial Day. Have a wonderful time with your family and friends. Eat some burgers, and I don't know. Remember those who we've lost doing the most patriotic thing you can do in America, which is protesting the powers that be.
I know. Also, tell your the weird family members you never see, and they're like, "What have you been up to?" Tell them I've been listening to OK Bud. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Thank you all so much for your support. Rate and review. Love you guys. Hail yourself. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.